Here are my top non-negotiable habits for aspiring software developers. My name's David, and I am a freelance web developer currently filming this video today from Seoul, South Korea. Just had a salt bread. It was good. It's kind of too rich actually. It was a great croissant that was like salty with like butter inside. It was gooey, so I saw the appeal. But now I thought I'll make you this video afterwards, and I finally got my gimbal fixed because this DJI mic, pocket camera can be kind of fragile at times. But I was able to reset everything and get things working, so now I have a stable camera while walking to film a video. So I was inspired by 75 Hard, as in I took inspiration from 75 Hard to make this video because I thought one of the keys for that program was to have daily non-negotiable habits. That these habits are kind of like simple by itself, like you just work out twice a day, you work out twice a day, you drink water, you read. These are kind of basic things, and doing it one time won't have like any major effects, but by doing it continuously over a long period of time, then you can make progress with whatever endeavor you're doing. So coding is no different. You have to do a small daily task to let it compound to be able to reach your goals. So here it's not just like daily things, but habits you should have while coding to be successful at it. So the first daily habit is to code. Code as in have your code editor up and write from your own fingers lines of code into the code editor for you to see. And I know this is basic, but you have to do it consistently every day. I would say for 45 minutes each day, and the earlier the better, like as soon as you wake up if you have a busy day. So because coding takes up so much of your mental bandwidth that you're gonna have more of it during the beginning of the day while you don't get drained from using your brain from other daily activities. So you gotta code every day for at least 45 minutes a day, but ideally longer, hours upon hours, multiple hours every day to make it. And then to compound with coding is that when a habit you do with coding and with tutorials is that whenever you're following a tutorial, you should code along. Don't just watch it. Have your code editor up and code along as you follow along the tutorial. Because I know that it can be easier to just skim by the video, watch it passively, and so you don't have to bring things up your code editor and type along. But the amount that you retain by just following along rather than just watching it is so much higher. It helps you connect the dots, because when you just follow a tutorial, if you're just watching someone else code, it's easier to not just nod and go along. But it can go by so fast that things don't click yet unless you actually type it out yourself. So the habit of when you follow a tutorial is that always code along. And then another habit to learn the concept from the tutorial is to build your own project. Once you learn something from a tutorial, try to code something on your own without the tutorial help. Either recreating the tutorial but on by doing it your own way, and it's going to be, by doing it yourself, it's hard that it will be exactly identical to the tutorial, but you might not remember something line by line, but the creative concept you should be able to know and apply what you learn. And then if you can't create the project on your own, that means you have to do more tutorials. Do more tutorials of that same concept. You need repetition of the same concept for it to click. So with tutorials, you want to always code along, and then do repetition of tutorials of the same concept until you can implement that concept technology by yourself without the tutorials. And then you have to test yourself too and actually build something without the tutorial. So that's another concept. And a last concept that I want to bring up is that don't sacrifice sleep. Take breaks. When you code, you can easily be consumed by what you're doing, and then when you get so sucked into it, sometimes if you just step away, you'll be able to see the bigger picture. And rest, taking a break, it helps you see the bigger picture at times. Because if you get so sucked into it, if you get stuck on something and you keep attacking on it, sometimes you're repeating the same problem with the code. Sometimes you might be able to get a working solution, but then it's not a good solution as well. So it's important to take time to take a break, rest as needed. Coding is like a marathon. You have to take your time with it until these concepts compounds, until you can grasp the different concepts with coding. Another habit that you should try to get is to get feedback on your code. And I know this is hard if you're self-taught, but if you have to do it by just like asking ChatGPT, asking another software dev to look at your code, to critique it, posting on your forums on ways to optimize it. You need it because coding, there's like infinite ways you can code the same thing. So you have to work on being better at it, because there's objective ways that your code can be better. So get feedback, and this is good where if you pay for a program. But the thing is, like, when I did the coding bootcamp, I got feedback, but the feedback was on the actual work, the functionality of the app, not on the actual code. You want feedback on the actual code. And that's why in my unpaid internship that I did, it was useful, because I had a senior dev that reviewed my code, gave me feedback, gave me concepts that comply to my coding philosophy to make me a better coder. So get feedback when you can, as a habit to become a better developer. And lastly, ask questions. This applies when you're working with other people, and there's going to be scenarios where someone's going to be explaining to you something and you're not going to understand. And you want to ask questions right away while you have the opportunity of having someone in front of you to explain things. Don't just nod and say you understand. Take the initiative, stop them, try to ask your question in a productive way to make sure you understand it. And that'll help you make a better, that's like a habit as a developer to improve. So these are the habits in general to get better at coding, is that you gotta do it every day, get feedback, ask questions. And if you do tutorials, you wanna code along, you need repetition on the tutorials until you can do a project on your own with the concept taught from the tutorial. So that's all I want to talk to you about today. If you need help building out a project, I'm a freelancer, so feel free to message me about what you're working on and I can see how I can help. I also do coaching for aspiring devs, where I work with you one-on-one to break down concepts at your own pace to make sure you understand things so you can proceed and accomplish your goals as a developer. Thank you so much for watching.